Hello children, I welcome you all once again to your English class. I hope you all are keeping well. Children, for today's English lesson, we are going to start a new chapter from your Honeycomb book, and this chapter is called The Invention of Vita Wonk. Now, this is written by Roald Dahl, and we will see that there is this scientist Willy Wonka, and we will find out what is his story. Okay, children, so let's get started. Let's read it. Mr. Wonka said, "So once again I rolled my sleeves and set to work. Once again I squeezed my brain, searching for the new recipe. I had to create age to make people old, older, oldest. Ha ha, I cried, for now the ideas were beginning to come. What is the oldest living thing in the world? What lives longer than anyone else?" Now, children, if you don't know what had happened before this, what happened that he was a scientist. Mr. Willy Wonka was a scientist. Okay, so he first invented a tonic Wonka Bite. Okay, Wonka Vitae, which made what? Which made people look younger. They were actually their age was decreasing, and there was this time, okay, when the medicine was so powerful that it sent people in their minus ages. Okay, so one was like one person, he became minus 87. So you can understand how much effort or what time he had to wait to come to at least 1 year old, being 1 year old. So after this failure, you can see after this you can see repercussion, or there was this failure of the invention. The poor fellow, this person, Willy Wong, decided what? To create a medicine which will help people again grow older. Okay, so now we can see here that he was now looking for certain remedies for actually making people old. So he have to create some recipe. Recipe here, children, means with ingredients, especially in chemistry labs. You prepare medicines, right? So with all the dilution, with all the concentration, with all the salts, you frame or you make medicines. So he was trying to make medicines to make people grow old. Okay, now he has to find some ways. So the first question he asks himself is what? That what is the oldest living thing in the world? Which thing lives the oldest? Means what? Which is the longest living thing? Now, a tree, Charlie said. Right, you are, Charlie. Charlie is maybe the lab assistant he is having. But what kind of a tree? So he said, Charlie replied that a tree maybe, yes, a tree can live that long. So he asked, the obvious question was, what kind of tree do you think will last that long? That is and not the oak, not the cedar. No, no, my boy. It is a tree called the bristlecone pine. So which is the tree that lives the longest? It's the, yes, according to the scientists, it's the bristlecone pine that grows upon the slopes of Willer Peak in Nevada, USA. So he knows, the scientist knows about the oldest living thing, and he also knows the place where it grows. Okay, so the tree is bristlecone pine, and where it grows in the hills of Nevada. Okay, now a tree, Charlie said. So Charlie said, maybe a tree, yes. So to this question that where will they find, or which is the oldest living thing on this earth, in this planet, okay, in this world. So Charlie replied, Charlie maybe is the lab assistant, okay. So he said that a tree maybe. Right, you are, Charlie. So he said, yes, you are very much right, a tree. But what kind of tree? Now, the scientist, wants to take out the answer from the lab assistant. He said, what kind of tree? What do you think? Which tree is is the longest or is the oldest living tree? Now, not the Douglas fir, not the oak, nor the cedar. So he's taking names of all the mountainous plants. That means all the trees that grow on mountains. No, no, my boy, it is a tree called the bristlecone pine that grows upon the slopes of Willow Peak in Nevada, USA. So he knows the location where this bristlecone pine, which is the oldest living thing to be found, now it grows in the Willow Peak in Nevada, USA, United States of America. Now, you can find bristlecone pines on willow peak today that are over how many years old? See, so many, like 4,000 years old. This is fact, Charlie. Ask any dendrochronologist you like and look that word up in the dictionary. When you get home, will you please? So he said that you need to ask this to a dendrochronologist. Who will be this person? This is a specialist who studies the annual rings of trees. These annual rings tell us about the age of the tree. Okay, so that you might have seen that rings are formed when you cut the trunk. You will see that rings are formed in the stem. So those are used by dendrochronologists to find what? To find the age of the tree. Okay, so now here I jumped into the great glass elevator and rushed all over the world collecting special items from the oldest living things. So what did he do? He now wanted to collect all the remains from oldest living thing. He needs to research that which is going to help him make people grow older, because he has to make the medicine for it. So he needs to search the ingredients now, special items. Now, let's see. A pint of sap from a 4,000-year-old bristlecone pine. So what does he need? He needs a sap from any bristlecone pine tree, that means which is 4,000 years old. The toenail clippings from 168-year-old Russian farmer called Petrovich Grigorovich. Okay. Now, he is the longest alive, means alive. He was the longest alive here. This person is the longest living human being. This 168-year-old Russian farmer, he was called what? Petrovich Grigorovich. Okay. Now, an egg laid by a 200-year-old tortoise belonging to the king of Tonga. The tail of a 51-year-old horse in Arabia. These are the oldest things possible. So he has to collect all these things to make his medicine. The whiskers of a 36-year-old cat called Crumpets. An old flea which had lived on crumpets for 36 years. A tale of 207-years-old giant rat from Tibet, and the black teeth of a 97-year-old grimalkin living in a cave on Mount Popocatépetl. The knuckle bones of a 700-year-old cataloo from Peru. Okay. Now see, sap means juice. Okay. And pint means a measure. That means he has to take some amount of the sap. And also flea means crumpet, which is like crumpet is usually a small worms like creature. Okay, they are like what? Yes, worms only, insects. Now, joint is big size. Knuckle bones are bones forming or corresponding to a knuckle. This is your knuckle bones. This one is your knuckle bones. Okay, all these which is joining your bones of the finger. Okay. Now, all over the world, Charlie, Mr. Wonka went on. Now, Mr. Wonka wants to narrate his story. He said, all over this world, I tracked down very old and ancient animals and took an important little bit of something from each one of them. So, after researching, after looking for everything, he took parts of them. Okay, he brought parts of them. Now, and took an important little bit of something from each one of them, a hair or an eyebrow or sometimes it was no more than an ounce or two of the jam scraped from its between its toes while it was sleeping. I tracked down the whistle pig, the bobolink, the skyrock, the polyfrog, the giant curlicue, the stinging slug, and the venomous squirrel, who can spit poison right into your eye from 50 yards away. See? So he managed to get all these things from really dangerous animals. Okay? Because they were really old and it might help him what? Create that medicine, make that medicine. Now, but there's no time to tell you about them all now, Charlie. Let me just say quickly that in the end, after lots of boiling and bubbling and mixing and testing in my inventing room, I produced one tiny cupful of oily black liquid and gave 4 drops of it to a brave 20-year-old Oompa Loompa volunteer to see what happened. So obviously, children, every scientist needs volunteer. You know, also during this coronavirus time, corona pandemic, uh, this when they were researching for this vaccines, okay, they needed volunteers to try the vaccines on. So okay, these people volunteered, they came forward in to do some good or for the welfare of the people, and they took the doses of the vaccines themselves. This way the researchers or scientists come to know whether their medicine or the vaccine is effective enough and how much dose is enough. Okay, now how many doses will be enough? So here we can see that this Oompa Loompa volunteered for getting the dose of the medicine. He was just 20 years old. Now, what did happen? Charlie asked. Charlie was inquisitive. He wanted to know what had happened after that. It was fantastic, cried Mr. Wonka. The moment he swallowed it, okay, gulped down its throat. What happened? He began wrinkling and shriveling up all over, and his hair started dropping off, and his teeth started falling out. And before I knew it, he had suddenly become an old fellow of 75. So what had happened after taking the tonic, after taking the medicine? The man Oompa Loompa started growing old. What signs of old age can we see in him? We could see what? We could see his wrinkling, we could see his shriveling, his body became weak, his teeth began to fall out, okay, fall off, and then he turned from 20 he turned to a man of 75. Now, and thus, my dear Charlie, was Vita Wonk invented. So yes, the invention of Vita Wonk like this can what make the people grow older is the story. So this way uh, we come to the ending. We have learned about the explanation, and this way what happened? Vita Wonk was invented. So children, yes, this was an interesting chapter, not that not that lengthy. And now we can move ahead with some meanings first. Okay, children, let's finish the meanings. Inventing, finding some new things. Number 2, disappear. Means vanish, not to be seen. Number 3, actually. In fact. Number 4. Rolled up my sleeves. Got ready. Number 5. Squeezed. Applied hard. Number 6. Dendrochronologist. Okay, children, please finish this one. Number 7 now. Elevator, a kind of lift. Lift. Number 8. Pint. Pint is a measure. Number 9. Sap. Sap means juice. Number 10. Flea. Flea are trumpets like insects. Okay. Trumpets. Number 11. Tracked down, searched. Searched. Number 12. Swallowed. Drank. Number 13. Shriveling. Contracting. Or getting dried up. Number 14. Scraped. Removed. Number 15. Clippings. Small pieces. Yes, children? Please write this down. And with this, we have finished the meanings. And now, in this video lesson, we are not going to do the question answers. We will meet again in our next video lesson and we will finish the rest of the textbook exercises and the comprehension check, working with the text and working with language part. So children, till then, please take care of yourself and your family. Bye-bye.